Boom shakalaka. What is going on, everybody? Randall here from Crypto Love. Oh my goodness. Live as we're talking, Bitcoin dumped $1,000. Holy crap. It was at $8,000. Now it is at $7,000 and change. $7,000 and change. So I'm just going to try and see if I can watch this. Yeah, here we go. Okay, I can watch this live too. So yeah, Bitcoin is dumping as we speak, as we talk. Holy crap. And crazy thing is, we've been talking about this on the channel for the past week, these levels to watch out for thanks to Jacob Canfield. Yeah, these levels are live. What's up, everybody? What's up? Dan Lee cashing out. Katoshi Nakamoto, Chris Phoenix. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. We are live. So, Bitcoin's dumping. And some of you may want to know why and what to do and what the heck is going on. Well, we're going to talk about all that stuff because I did a little bit of research and I found out why. And yeah, that's absolutely amazing. But if we zoom out here, okay, let's take a little zoom out. Now, for a little while, Bitcoin's been hovering back and forth. For the past 2 weeks, it's been hovering back and forth between the $8,600 and the $7,800 area. Yeah, Matt Robbo says, I'm buying. Smart move. Yes, how beautiful to accumulate. Do what the institutional investors are doing and accumulate. That's smart. What's up, Luca? How are you? So, Bitcoin's been breaking out. And actually, this line that I had here from all the way back in February, okay, you can see this line. We just broke through there. So that is not good news. Broke through there and also broke through this $7,800 support area that we've had. So where are you seeing $7,000? I'm seeing below even well, I mean, right now it's at $7,400. But where is it going? Likely even lower. And I'll tell you why for a couple reasons coming up. So yeah, Bitcoin's breaking out. Absolutely amazing. If you take a look, see if you can see this volume right here. Look at this. Huge volume. Somebody sold like 400 Bitcoin. Okay? Totally tanked the price. Boom. Now, we can take a look at some reasons why. There are some articles here. Bitcoin dropped in 4 minutes. Millions sold on just one exchange. Wall Street manipulation. You better believe it. You know why it's Wall Street manipulation? Because as soon as this happened... hang on. Because as soon as this happened, backed trading volumes set a record, a new record after the flash crash. Check this out. Right after the flash crash, millions of institutional dollars came in. Look at this, backed volume. Okay, you remember backed volume doing like one Bitcoin, a few Bitcoin a day? Well, in the beginning of that crash, 8 Bitcoin in the very beginning of it, but then 296 Bitcoin. Institutional investors are buying this dump. They are buying it. These are the prices they've been looking for. It'll be so bloody below $7,000. You better believe it. It'll be crazy. I mean, when this stuff happens, there's really not much of a way to predict it because it's just one person selling off a whole bunch. But when it happens, it just broke 2 levels of support in minutes. In minutes. So yeah, Bitcoin dropped. Wall Street manipulation. I believe it definitely is. I mean, look at that. Those candles are ridiculous. And also, in addition, what's amplifying that? BitMEX liquidations. People are getting liquidated left and right on BitMEX right now, having to sell their shorts, sell to cover their short positions. And so that's increasing to the amount of sales going on. It's absolutely crazy. It's madness. Bitcoin price is dropping as we speak. I don't know why I'm looking at the 4-hour candles. Should look at like the minute candles. Or let's go to the hours first. Okay, slowing down a little bit. Now these candles might look a little bit different than yours because they're hiking a sheet, but no big difference. If we look at the minute candles, okay, so huge sell-off and then a bit of a bounce back, okay? Starting to bounce back, people are buying back in, institutional investors are buying back in because they realize these prices are good to buy Bitcoin because they realize that if you have Bitcoin, you're probably going to do pretty damn good. I think the minutes are too short. Let's try 15. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. Big sell-off right there. Gigantic sell-off. Now it's starting to level out a little bit more, but most people haven't even heard about this yet. I mean, this just happened, I don't know, 2 hours, within the past 2 hours. And people are just finding out about the Bitcoin crash. Now, some people may say that this is due to the Libra testimony. So Zuckerberg has his Libra testimony, his $10 billion, his basically talking about Libra. Nobody wants Libra. The reason Libra's not working, totally centralized. Governments don't want it because they want to be able to print the money. They don't want Facebook to print the money. Because if Facebook's able to print the money, then they will be the new government. So governments don't want that, obviously. So Zuckerberg's got his testimony right now. And, I mean, what better way to just put the nail in the coffin of Libra than sell off 400 Bitcoin? I mean, it could have been someone who's had Bitcoin for a long time, cost them nothing for 400 Bitcoin, and they just sell it off just to be like in Zuckerberg's face. Now, I mean, we've been talking about this stuff. I made this video a couple days ago where there was the Bitcoin breakout where the price started heading back up. So back here, when the price started heading back up, I said, exercise caution because this probably is not the beginning of something big. In this video 2 days ago, I said that. I said we've been trading in between this area. And it's not like I'm a genius here. I just, I listen to what Jake says, Jacob Canfield from TradingView. He is a really smart guy. This is his stuff here. Exercise extreme caution for Bitcoin. This pattern is forming. He talks about the rectangle formation for Bitcoin, bouncing back and forth. Once it breaks out to the top or the bottom, then caution because there's some new levels. If it breaks out to the bottom, guess what? Could be heading towards $6,400. That's where we're heading, not $7,400. Could drop another $1,000 from where we are right now. If it breaks out to the top, he was saying up to $9,500, but broke out to the bottom, so it looks like we could be heading towards $6,400. Now he talks a couple strategies for how to trade the rectangle formation. So if you guys want to know how to do that, how to trade the rectangle formation. So the first was to short and long within the triangle, but we're outside of the rectangle. Okay. Now you can long or short a breakout pullback or a breakdown pullback. So this is a breakdown. If there's a pullback and there's sufficient volume, sell volume, you could short that down to $6,400. But, you know, I'm not giving you trading advice. I'm just here to say, hey, we're live. It's a live stream. Been a long time since we had a live stream. And so, yeah, just share what's going on with Bitcoin because the price is tanking, absolutely tanking. And let's see if the 2-hour predicted this, because the 2-hour MACD is pretty good for predicting this type of stuff. 2-hour MACD, yeah, 2-hour MACD said get out of Bitcoin. The daily MACD, which is what I trade on just so I don't have to trade that often, was still saying be in Bitcoin, but it looks like that's going to switch pretty soon. But the 2-hour MACD, if you like to trade more often, this is one of the most awesome indicators because you would have gotten out of Bitcoin at right around $8,200. And then now it's at 74. You would have been doing awesome, the 2-hour MACD. That's awesome. Short Bitcoin to zero, Ponzi China money laundering scam. Yeah, that's right. Oh, man. Big short it to zero. You know, it could. There was an article in today's episode that I was going over where we're talking about how the Trump administration was responsible for causing the popping of the Bitcoin bubble by introducing futures, by allowing people to short it, because without it, if you don't believe in Bitcoin, you can't actually short it. So if you don't believe in it, yeah, you can try shorting it to zero. You can do whatever you want with that. So some other things, I mean, I'm not surprised as to why the price is coming down. I mean, even other videos I've been talking about where Bitcoin is likely to go to $6,500. So I've been talking about in a lot of videos like this hidden bearish caution, a few other videos I've made recently where I've been talking about, yeah, likely to go to $6,500. And there's a reason why. See, right down here, 2 weeks ago, Bitcoin is $6,500 before $16,000. There's some reasons why. Not only what Jake has to talk about here in this rectangle formation going on, but also what's going on here. I mean, this guy, Trading Shot, has done a bunch of articles recently about how Bitcoin's heading to $6,500. He firmly believes it is. And one of the main reasons for it, well, there's a lot of different reasons that he has for it, but one of the reasons is because Bitcoin tends to find bottoms between the 1,000-day and the 1,400-day moving average. Well, when it found the bottom last December, it was right there, bounced off the 1,400-day moving average. And guess what? Again, potentially falling down. Now, he says, this is based on Fibonacci numbers, so the peak is between the 0.5 and the 0.618, and then same thing happened there, peak between the 0.5 and the 0.618, and then it breaks down in December. Possible. Now, based on what Bitcoin's done previously, there is a large chance, there's an 89% chance the price will rise in November and December. 89% chance. 8 out of 9 previous November, Decembers, Bitcoin price actually rose in November and December. But we may be seeing the same thing again, because as I mentioned in that episode when I was talking about why I'm extremely bullish about Bitcoin, which is, this one, why I'm very optimistic about Bitcoin a week ago. I made this episode talking about how Bitcoin always goes up in November and December. I said, yes, if you can see here, we'll zoom in, okay? You see all these green Bs? All those green Bs were November, December's when Bitcoin price rose. Now, the last November, December, Bitcoin price went down. This November, December, we haven't hit yet, okay? Now, I said there's statistically 89% chance it'll be green. Price will go up. But you know what was different between this November, December and the rest of these November, Decembers? This is the first one when futures existed. This is the first time when people could short Bitcoin, and they did, and price went down. Could short it again. Price could go down again. Yikes. Ouch. So, those of you just tuning in, yeah, Bitcoin price is dropping. Look at this. These are the 2-hour candles. And we were hovering right around $8,000 when I made my video earlier today, but broke through support that we've had since, basically broke through a trend line we've had since February, and then broke through support we've had for the past few weeks at this $7,800 area. And now we're hovering right around $7,400. Thanks for the shorting advice. Not financial advice. I'm not a professional trader. I just do it for hobby, for fun. But my buddy Jacob Canfield, he is a very good professional trader. Maybe not a professional. Hobbyist? I don't know. He's like a pro. He's made a ton of money off of trading. He does a very good job. I mean, he posts all the time on TradingView. You can check it out here. He also has Signal Profits, where he called this this Bitcoin price drop on there. So if you want to, you could check out that stuff. There's a link down in the description that helps out the channel. You can find out about what to do with Bitcoin and also a whole bunch of other cryptos on there as well. So he's got all that stuff going on. But man, the reasons for it, I think, yeah, Wall Street manipulation, sure, why not? Because all these institutional investors are like, yeah, Bitcoin's at $8,000, still seems a little bit pricey to me. We only want to buy it when the price is going down low. So price tanks, and then as if they knew it was coming, the highest backed volume ever. 200, almost 300 times higher than an average day on backed so far. And that's just in the past 2 hours. Okay, 300 times higher. So multiply that by 12 hours. It's going to be like 3,000 times higher than a normal day on backed. They're just buying up Bitcoin at these rock bottom prices. But like I said, the price may continue to go down. Also, BitMEX, people shorting, and the Libra testimony. So let's see what you guys have to say, and then we can respond to these. Proof of stake is the future. Sorry, Bitcoin maximalist. Bitcoin will be relevant, but it won't reach 100,000 or a million. Something else will be the new king of crypto. It's just a matter of time. Maybe. But you know what? Bitcoin has limited supply. I mean, there. It's been around 10 years, never been hacked. It's got a lot of development community. It's got people know about Bitcoin. I mean, maybe, yeah, sure. Maybe 100. I don't know. Something could take over, but Bitcoin's got limited supply. And guess what? Mcafee was talking about it. I made this video yesterday about Mcafee. He's talking about it. He says that 7,000 Bitcoin are lost forever. Or 7 million Bitcoin are lost forever. I thought there were like 3 or 4 million Bitcoin lost forever. He says 7 million Bitcoin are lost forever. That means there's only 14 million Bitcoin. Then he says, do the math. And he says Bitcoin will be worth $2 million, do the math. And I think the math that he was talking about is that there's like 30 million millionaires, okay? Meanwhile, if there's 7 million Bitcoin lost, that means there's only 14 million Bitcoin. So that means every millionaire, let's just say a millionaire has $1 million, okay? Let's just say, so every person with $1 million could only own half a Bitcoin. Well, guess what? If you solve for that, $1 million equals 0.5x, guess what? X, one Bitcoin, equals $2 million, which is why Bitcoin equals $2 million. So that's my thoughts on things. Let's see what else. Why is shorting even allowed? Is it just a tool for manipulation? No. I mean, shorting is a tool for manipulation, but shorting actually is complementary to longing. It gives people who don't believe in it a chance to voice their opinion. It does allow for more manipulation, particularly by institutional investors, by people who know how to do it. But it is something that's absolutely necessary, because otherwise the people who don't like Bitcoin don't really have a voice in the market. But shorting definitely did pop the bubble back in 2017, 2018. And let's see, who else? Hello, everybody. Make sure to write. I remember Mcafee reasoning that whether to buy in at 7,000 or 7,400 or whatever is stupid. Focus on it. It's about the macro trade, Bitcoin, May 2020. Yeah, I mean, remember, we still have the halvening coming up in a year. Okay? In this chart here, you can see, I know I don't have it on a TradingView chart, but you can see these lines here. These lines here are the Bitcoin halving dates, okay? And from a year before to a year after, Bitcoin price grows tremendously. Year before to year after, Bitcoin grows tremendously. Year before, year after, Bitcoin grows tremendously. And, you know, during the 6 months leading up to the halving, on average, Bitcoin goes up about 2.5 times. So those are all things to look forward to. My portfolio got super wrecked down 200,000. Listen, I mean, I was listening to something by Crypto Lark. He's a smart dude. He said that I think it was somewhere around like 92% or something. Had you have gone all in on Bitcoin, over 92% of the history of Bitcoin, you would be winning right now. I mean, you would be in the positive. It's just like a select few people who went in at the exact top who are still down a bit. So that's difficult, but guess what? That's just a cycle. I mean, Bitcoin moves through cycles. We can see here, if we look at like the liquid exchange, that shows Bitcoin over a long time period. And when we take a look at that, you can see that Bitcoin over a long period of time, price tends to go up. Okay, these are the daily charts, but let's go to something. Let's just take a look at the weekly. Here we go. Okay, look at this. Bitcoin tends to go up. Pretty much the only people who are down right now are people who bought above this line right here. And those were people who bought in between November and February. November 2017, February 2018. Oh, look at this. Well, I can't say whether, someone's asking is a good time to start longing. I can't say whether it's a good time to start shorting or longing right now. Because right now, I mean, the market just took a giant dump. So, obviously, there's going to be a bit of volatility following this. Because generally, volatility goes from not volatile, we were right around the $8,000 mark for a few weeks, to a bit of intense volatility, to not volatile to intense volatility. Now, me personally, I thought that Bitcoin was going to go down to around $6,500 before it actually takes off. And I said that 2 weeks ago. I was talking about that here. Bitcoin is $6,500 before $16,000. A few different reasons I mentioned for that price being there. If you guys want to find out some good reasons, check out on TradingView. There's this chart from Jacob, exercise extreme caution for Bitcoin with this pattern forming. And then also go look at a whole bunch of stuff by this guy, Trading Shot. Okay. Let's see if we can check out his stuff. He's been talking a whole bunch about why Bitcoin price is going down to $6,500. Let's see. Will China rule the world sometime? I think China actually will. There's this book that is on my next to read list. The Future is Asian. Guess what? The world population is growing exponentially, and most of it is occurring in Asia. The future is Asian. Like any thoughts that we have about Western civilization being the... Okay, so here's two good books. If you guys like to read books. I love to read books. I read like a book a week. I freaking love it. But the first one is called Factfulness. This is a book about all these wrong ideas we have about... all these wrong ideas we have about the world, and basically why they're wrong. And he even talks about how like the population is growing exponentially in Asia. So awesome book here. And then another one that I'm reading is, or I'm going to read, is The Future is Asian. I saw this one in a bookstore in Thailand, and I was like, I got to read that book because I believe it. I mean, they're so far ahead of us in terms of technology. There's so many more people there. It's crazy. That's the way the world is going. So how long will the next bull run last? I don't think the bull run... Well, okay. So there's a cycle with Bitcoin. Basically, there's a 3-year... where do we go? There's a 3-year bear market, and then there's basically a 1-year bull market. Okay, so we have 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 3-year bear market, and then 1-year bull market. And then again, 3-year bear market, 1-year bull market. It happens over and over again. 3-year bear market, 1-year bull market. That's the way that it kind of happens. Generally, the inciting event for that bull market is the halving, because that reminds people how That reminds people how scarce Bitcoin is. And this is going to be the most impactful happening ever. There's going to be like 60 some million dollars of Bitcoin not on the market every week because of this happening. It's going to be something absolutely crazy. Will Bitcoin hit $16,000 by the end of the month? Yes or no? Oh yeah, for Anonymous on 4chan. So Anonymous on 4chan said that Bitcoin will hit $16,000 by the end of the month. Could be the first time he's wrong. Let's see if they have this little image of what this person said. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so Anonymous has been right a number of times. Was right about the bottom on December 15th, was right about 5,300 in April of 2019, was right about 9,200 in July of 2019. Now, October 2019 could be wrong about $16,000 by the end of the month. We have, what day is today? Today is the 23rd. Oof, 8 days. Will it go up to $1,600 in 8 days? That could be a huge reversal if it actually does go up to $1,600 in 8 days. That could be absolutely crazy. Another question. What happens if nothing happens after the halving? Well, that would be interesting. But I think it's kind of unlikely for nothing to happen. I mean, listen, if nothing happens, if Bitcoin price keeps going down and down and down and down, then yeah, Bitcoin price keeps going down and down. But I don't think that's very likely. Because right now there's more Bitcoin adoption than there's ever been. There's more people who know about Bitcoin than there's ever been before. There's more Bitcoin on-ramps than there's ever been before. And yet there's less Bitcoin being produced than ever before. There's less available than ever before. And you know, I mean, basically, the only people who are really getting scared about these price dumps are the retail investors, you and me, okay? If we take a look, and I'm just going to show you the reason why this market dropped, Bitcoin dropped in 4 minutes. Millions sold on just one exchange, Wall Street manipulation. Yeah, because as soon as the price dropped, someone sold 400 Bitcoin. I think it was on, where does it say? Was it here? No, one of these articles. One of these articles talked about which exchange the 400 Bitcoin was sold on. But maybe this one? Okay, well, basically, as soon as 400 Bitcoin were sold, oh, here it is. Bitcoin's sharp fall of -7% was all within 4 minutes of 400 Bitcoin sold on Bitstamp. Somebody sold 400 Bitcoin on Bitstamp, price tanked, and then, moments after, Bakkt had record volume. Bakkt sets record volume. Now, generally, since Bakkt's launch, okay, and what was it? I don't know, it was like almost a month ago. Yeah, okay. So since Bakkt's launch, on average, 1 to 5 Bitcoin per day of volume. Get that in your head, 1 to 5 Bitcoin per day. So you would think price drops, maybe, you know, record volume has been doing 1 to 5, maybe it'll do 10, maybe it'll do 20. No. In 2 hours since the price drop, has done almost 300 Bitcoin. That's like 3,000 times what it's been doing before, if you take it down to the hourly average. The anonymous guy could be Satoshi in disguise. It could be. Nobody knows who Satoshi is, except for the NSA. Apparently they know. How to incorporate the business of art with crypto. Do art, get paid in Bitcoin. Lots of people do it. There's a lot of people doing Bitcoin art. Let's see. Proof of work will become obsolete? Maybe, but you know what? Proof of work is really provably secure. I mean, it just shows that there is something behind it. Like, basically, people say there's nothing behind the US dollar. There used to be gold backing the US dollar. Now there's nothing. And in order to get gold, you need to mine it. You need to do proof of work to get gold. Well, now there's nothing backing the US dollar. But what's backing Bitcoin is that proof of work. That proof of work that secures a blockchain actually is responsible for securing it. Now, proof of stake, yeah, you don't have to do as much. You just have to have some money in there. You have to stake it. But will it replace proof of work? Maybe, or maybe not. I still think Bitcoin, I mean, everybody's looking for the next Bitcoin. Maybe Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin, or maybe it's not. You know, I mean, altcoins pump generally once every 4 years. Right after a giant Bitcoin bull run, altcoins go up too. So maybe that's coming, but until a proof of stake is still very early on. Let's see. Smash the like button. Yeah, thanks. Wow, got a whole bunch of people watching. 232 people watching. Thanks for the shorting advice. Let's see. Who else? Oh, Slayer fan. What's up, man? Got some people and no one here. That's good. I know it's been long. I haven't done live streams in like forever. Just because I haven't been in the same place with decent internet all the time. I've just been traveling a whole bunch. If you guys saw, I did that digital nomad episode for you guys who want to learn about that stuff, because you guys requested it. So I did an episode about living like a digital nomad, what it's like. It's pretty interesting. Get to travel all around. I like to stay in just places that I love. So I just find a place that I love and just stay there and do work. Let's see. Buy the dip. Yeah, love it all. Lots of drama. There is a lot of drama. You know what a lot of drama is? A lot of drama is freaking Libra. Okay? Libra has just been like a whole bunch of drama. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, they have the Libra testimony today. Zuckerberg's appearing before Congress. That's that whole craziness. And then it wouldn't be outlandish to think that this whole Bitcoin dump is just coordinated to like completely embarrass Zuckerberg and Libra. It's not that far-fetched. Like, I could totally see the connecting those dots. Like, somebody is just like, you know what? Like, seriously? It could even be the freaking Winklevoss twins. Okay, now I know outlandish theory. I love conspiracy theories. Okay, Winklevoss twins. They have untold amounts of Bitcoin. 400 Bitcoin to them, absolutely nothing. Now, they believe in Bitcoin, sure. They know in the long term it's going to do awesome. As a matter of fact, they just said, Cameron Winklevoss tweeted today about the negative interest rate bonds. Okay, so these are bonds that you actually have to pay to hold on to, which is complete bullshit. Okay? Like, what could be a shittier investment than a bond that doesn't return anything? How about a bond that you actually have to pay to hold on to? That's retarded. Well, guess what? There's $17 billion or trillion dollars, $17 trillion. $17 trillion in these negative interest bonds. Guess what? When those bonds come up, you think the people are going to reinvest their money back into those bonds? No, they're going to put it in an asset that actually gets returns, like Bitcoin. Okay? So anyways, back to the Winklevoss Facebook conspiracy. So here we go. The Winklevoss twins, they know, they don't like Zuckerberg. He fucked them over, okay? Because of Facebook. Okay. However, they got money from that settlement. They were able to buy into a whole bunch of Bitcoin. So it kind of worked out for them. But they don't like him. So they know today he's trying to get in on their business. He wants to get into the cryptocurrency. That's the Winklevoss's business. So they're like, you know what? Fuck him. He's appearing before Congress today. Let's embarrass the shit out of him. Let's show them how manipulated the Bitcoin market is. Let's sell 400 Bitcoin, make the price tank, make Congress, after they have this whole testimony with Zuckerberg today, be like, yo, that shit is really manipulated. It is not steady at all. We can't do that stuff anytime soon. Blah, 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 blah. I think totally a conspiracy. Wow, I'm a genius. Yeah, right? The mind works in crazy ways. Let's see. Investing advice, dipper. What's the difference between halving and a hard fork? Yeah, sure. Okay, so basically, a hard fork is when basically the program's going one way and then they decide to take it a different way and they can't agree. Basically, like for instance, you're driving with your wife, your girlfriend, whatever, and you know a way to get there. She knows another way to get there. You want to go your way. She wants to go a different way, and she's going to nag you until you go her way. Well, eventually, with a hard fork, it's like, well, tell you what, why don't you take this half of the car? You can go your way. I'm going to go my way. That's a hard fork. Okay. Halving is actually it refers to the block reward. So in mined cryptocurrencies that have a deflationary, that are produced in a deflationary sense, like Bitcoin, every 4 years there's a halving. So what the halving is, initially Bitcoin was 50 Bitcoin per block mined. Okay, then it dropped to 25 Bitcoin per block mined. That was the first halving. Then it dropped from 25 to 12.5 per block mine. That was the second halvening. Now we have the third halvening coming up May of 2020, where it will go from 12.5 Bitcoin to 6.25 Bitcoin per block mine. So that means whatever miner mines that block gets rewarded 6.5 Bitcoin. So that's the halving. Who said the NSA knows? There was an article. Just look it up. Like, type it into Google. Satoshi, NSA. But the NSA won't say who it is. To protect their whatever, they won't say who it is. So we still don't know who it is, but apparently the NSA knows. They have insane ways of figuring stuff out. I read this other book. It was by this dude who was a really good hacker. The Art of Invisibility. I think that was the name of the book. Okay, by like some really great hacker, and he was talking about how basically, I mean, because of cell phones, because of computers, because of wireless technologies, everybody knows where we are all the time. There's no hiding. There's no privacy anymore. Let's see. What's not manipulated? Look at gold. Yeah, of course everything's manipulated. Cool. So I am curious. So what are some of your guys' Bitcoin predictions by 2021? Because this is one of my favorite. I had such a fun time making this video yesterday, the new Mcafee Bitcoin prediction. So Mcafee now says that Bitcoin will be worth $2 million by the end of 2020. Okay? So if we take a look, one of my favorite websites right now, dickening.com. We can take a look. This is the countdown until Mcafee eats his own dick on national television. So he has 435 days. He initially said $500,000 within 3 years by the end of 2020. Then he went up to $1 million. Now it's $2 million. So at the Malta Blockchain Summit, he said $2 million. Well, guess what? That means Bitcoin needs to grow an average of $2,281 per day between now and the dickening. Is it possible, though? Based on fractals, yeah, totally is possible. If we look at the first bull run, based on that, yeah, we could head up to the $1 to $2 million mark on the top end, or the $8,000 mark on the bottom end. Somewhere between $8,000 and $2 million per Bitcoin. Yikes. If we look at the second fractal, this is the second bull run. Well, guess what? Same thing here. We could have price going up between $8,000 and $2 million. So it's certainly possible. So yeah, what do you guys think between, I have $150,000 in 2021 by Life is Easy, 150 to 250 by the end of 2021. I think, okay, so here's another thing about this whole Mcafee prediction. If you watch his interview at the Malta Blockchain Summit, he's basically just promoting his Mcafee DEX. Like, I half think this new prediction that he has is just to promote Mcafee DEX. Because he really doesn't care. He honestly doesn't care if the price reaches $1 million or not. There's a likelihood that it may, but he doesn't really care. Because guess what? He's already set when it comes to money. And he would much prefer to make more money on his Mcafee DEX and then reinvest that in Bitcoin or other things. Because here's my theory, okay? Oh yeah, this is his double or nothing thing. 2 million by 2020. If you want to watch that video, you can check it out. But here's my theory on things. So we had Hoskinson, who was supposed to eat his shoe if Shelly didn't ship. And Shelly didn't ship. And then he says, you know what? My shoes are leather. They're cowboy boots. I'm not going to eat them. I'll eat a shoe cake. So he's rewarding himself for not shipping Shelly. Well, Mcafee here, he says, if the worst comes and I lose my bet, keep in mind I promised to eat my dick. The cutting it off was added by the media. I will probably subcontract the task to relay team of Bangkok prostitutes with instructions to carry out the task slowly, finishing as I exit. So even if he doesn't, this is why I say I don't really think he cares that much about his prediction. It's more for publicity. He's like a glutton for publicity. Because if he doesn't, he'll just have a whole bunch of pros go down on him and then be like, well, somebody ate my dick. And somebody responded to that comment saying, you said you will do it, not prostitutes. And he said the law in every state is similar. Debts owed, whether in tangible assets or in service, may legally be fulfilled by agents acting on behalf of the principal. So, yeah. There's that. I agree. Keep it going. Why is Bitcoin going down? You need a short answer. Yeah, I'll tell you. Short answer why Bitcoin's going down. Bitcoin's going down for a few things. One, Wall Street manipulation. Somebody sold 400 Bitcoin on Bitstamp. Okay? Second, people who were shorting it, people got liquidated on BitMEX. The longs on BitMEX got liquidated, so they have to cover those longs there. So there's that, and then also institutional investors buying a whole bunch. So manipulation, Wall Street manipulation. Okay, they drop the price, they buy in a whole bunch of retail investors who are shorting it get liquidated, and then everybody's happy except for the retail investors who just get fucked over and over and over again. I mean, Bitcoin was supposed to be the reason why we don't get fucked. Bitcoin is our excuse not to get fucked. Just like buy and hodl, or dollar cost average, or Mcafee trade, or do something where you don't. I mean, trading it on leverage is just silly, and that's what everybody wants to do now because it's just not getting gains. Like everybody gets in because they want to get gains. They got in between the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, when they thought they could get massive gains with Bitcoin. They want massive gains. Everybody's impatient. They want massive gains. Well, guess what? There's a 4-year cycle that comes with Bitcoin. Okay? If you haven't gotten gains with Bitcoin yet, and you've been in for 4 years, then complain to me. But if you've been in less than 4 years, then there's no reason to complain. It takes 4 years for a complete bull market, bear market cycle. It's a 3-year bear market, a 1-year bull market. Okay? The last bull market was 2017. So we're still in a bear market right now. I mean, maybe we're in the beginning of a bull market. Who knows? But it takes 4 years for a cycle. And this was... So anyways, what I was saying, 2008, bankers fucked us. Okay? Satoshi, he's like, you know what? Screw these bankers. We'll have our own money. Okay? We'll have Bitcoin. Decentralized peer-to-peer digital currency. And it's awesome. And it worked out really well. But now we have bankers getting into that. Okay, they realize the value of this. I mean, if you can't see how much bankers realize the value of this, guess what? Only institutional investors, only those large institutions can trade on backed. Okay, only them. And guess what? The backed volume is up 3,000% today. 3,000%. When the price drops, it's up 3,000%. Backed has been doing no volume for the past few weeks, and then all of a sudden today the price tanks and backed volume shoots off. So these institutional investors are just waiting on the sideline. They're not going to buy at premiums. No, they're going to manipulate the market. They're going to buy at discounts and then sell it back to the retail investors at all-time highs. They're going to sell it back to the retail investors at $100,000, at $500,000, at $1 million, or whatever it goes to, because that's how they make profit. These guys make money for a living. Crazy. Bitcoin has no use case. Oh God, from XRP. Please. You want to talk about no use case? Freaking XRP. Okay, fine. You have XRapid, you have Ripple Labs, RippleNet, whatever the hell it's called. Okay, yeah, banks. Wonderful. Guess what? I mean, XRapid, whatever the hell you want to call it. Ripple, XRP. Sure. It could be very useful because it can connect banks. Well, guess what? What happens when people don't need banks anymore? It's like, for instance, XRP is to banks what like videotape rewinding machines are to Blockbuster. They're like, Netflix is never going to do well because they don't have videotape rewinding machines. But, Blockbuster has them. And that's basically XRP thinking to banks. Guess what? Bitcoin is here because we don't actually need banks. There's going to be a time that banks have only been around for a few hundred years. Okay, before that, people held their own money. Banks, it's really only during our lifetimes. Because even if you ask your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, they didn't trust banks. They held their own money. Banks are really only an institution in the past 100 years that have become very popular. So there will be a time after banks because of Bitcoin, because you can be your own bank. And then what's the use case for Ripple? I ask you that. But until biggest whale bought over 1.6 thousand Bitcoin today. Yeah, price is down huge. Oh man, I just love these Ripple Army people. They just Ripple Army, man. You know what? What's that dude? The damn it, that TV show Fast and Loud? Richard Rollins. Okay, Richard Rollins. I met him at a NASCAR event. I was at NASCAR last year. I met Richard Rollins there, the guy with the hairdo, who's everything. And he saw my shirt. He's like, I really like your shirt, man. It was a Crypto Love Unicorn Poop and a Bitcoin shirt. And I was like, yeah, thanks, man. I got a channel and talk about Bitcoin and stuff. And he's like, oh, yeah, when's my Ripple going to come up? And I was like, I don't know, man. Yeah, that was pretty funny. 2 million bursts all the way down, 12,000 and late investors freak out. 50,000 at halving. Yeah, that could be very cool. Love the video, great work. Thank you. I appreciate that. I put a lot of work into my videos. I know it's not always apparent. I mean, I know my videos, other people do better videos, but I'm doing the best I can. I'm learning the best I can. It's tough to create content every day, but I'm not complaining because I love my job. And we're all saying Bitcoin will pump like anything, but so far nothing is happening. Why? Because it's not long enough. It hasn't, I mean, that's why. It just hasn't been long enough. Bitcoin's going to pump. It just hasn't been long enough. I mean, look at this. We had a peak here. This was 2011. A peak here, 2013. So that's 2 years and change. Okay, 2 years between that one. And then we had another peak, 2017. That's 4 years. Okay, so based on that, it would be another 4 years until the next one. So that would be 2021 when we would have another one. Or, I mean, this is 2 years. This is 4 years. Could even be the next one's 8 years if it works on like a cubic square scale, something like that, logarithmic scale, exponential scale. There we go. I used to be really good at math, swear, but it's been a long time. It's been like 15 plus years since I've done any math. Yeah, so if this is 2 years, this is 4 years. The next one could be 8 years. Might not happen until 2025. But wouldn't you be glad to have one Bitcoin in 2025 when it's worth $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $10 million, $20 million? Why the hell not? I mean, listen, this is one of the things that I got into Bitcoin. One of the reasons why I got into Bitcoin. Okay, so one of my friends who I trust a lot told me that, if you have one Bitcoin, you'll be set for life. And I believed him because I've listened to him and believed him for a lot of other stuff, and he was right. And so I was like, yeah, sure, okay, awesome. But that's not the only thing. The other thing was, when I got into Bitcoin, it was around $1,000 a Bitcoin. And I was looking at it, and, I started doing research, and there was the Mcafee prediction of $500,000. And I was like, okay, let's take a look at this risk versus reward. I could risk $1,000 for the potential to have $1 million. I'll do that every day and twice on Sunday. I mean, look at it now. You could risk $7,000 for the chance, or what's it at now? Let's see. You could risk $7,400 for the chance of $2 million. Now, it may not hit there, but it may. It may. 7,000, I mean, obviously, not financial advice. Don't put any money into Bitcoin you're not willing to lose. It could all go to zero. Could be completely wrong. But when you take a look at it, take a look at the people getting into Bitcoin. Just look at them. Okay? So we have a lot of the smartest, the most brilliant people on earth getting into Bitcoin, working, developing Bitcoin for absolutely free. Okay? They're just doing it out of the kindness of their hearts because they want to. Okay? Now, these people, they're working, they're developing it, they believe in it 100% because they see the potential value of this. Now let's take a look at the people who are against Bitcoin. We have people like Warren Buffett. He owns banks. Okay? We have other people like, I don't know, governments, they're against it. That's because they want to print money. They want to own the money. Who else do we have? We have the Ripple Army. Because they have Ripple. So yeah, it's basically like all of the most brilliant people who find out about Bitcoin are like, yeah, I'm in this. This is actually really good. And I believe in this. And even institutions now are getting into it. Like I said, Bakkt had the biggest day ever. Okay? This is just 2 hours after the pump. 2 hours after the pump, they already did like 60 times more volume than they normally do on a day. That's crazy. So, institutions are getting into it. Everybody who knows what they're doing. People are leaving, working at banks. There's probably been at least a handful of CEOs or junior execs or different stuff like that from banks who have left to work in cryptocurrencies because they see the potential of this. This is going to do for money what the internet did for communication. And I mean, look at that. Now you have like all this social media. You can talk to people wherever. I mean, most of my friends live in different places in the world, but I'm still able to talk to them because of that. Well, imagine when you're going to be your own bank, when you don't have to rely on banks. I mean, look what happened in Hong Kong. Hong Kong started restricting people from being able to take out money from ATMs. People went fucking nuts. They've started buying Bitcoin because they're like, shit, my money's not going to be available. Well, guess what? When banks can't fool around, because banks have just been fucking us for years. If you have a bank account, guess what? You're being fucked. They charge you overdraft fees. They charge you account fees. They charge you all these ridiculous types of fees for no reason. Not only that, I mean, like bank credit cards and stuff. They're charging 20%. How much do you get on your interest? Or like when they loan the money that you put in your bank. Okay, you put the money in your bank. Your money, you put the money in your bank. Every dollar that you put in, they can loan out $10. And not only that, they loan out that $10 somewhere around like, I don't know, between 4 and 12%. Okay? We'll say average 8%. They loan it out. Now, how much do you get in your bank account on interest? Is it less than 1%? Is it even above 0? It's ridiculous. They're literally stealing all their money from you. They fucked up so big in 2008, and none of them went to jail for it. None of them were fined for it. They made billions of dollars from that. They were bailed out. And guess what? They just kicked the can down the road. It's going to happen again. Financial collapse is going to happen again. And Bitcoin's going to be our savior. Let's see. Do I hold ETH? Yes, I have some ETH. My thoughts on ETH? Well, I have a video coming up in the next week on my thoughts on ETH. So stay tuned for that one. Micropayments will be the future. Oh, talking about micropayments being the future. I showed this in a previous episode. What's it called? Like, there's something, what's it called? Light Night. Okay, fine. We'll just have to find the link in one of these articles. Okay, check this out. No, where is it? Oh, lightnight.io. Duh. Talking about micropayments, this got me really excited. This thing right here could be the future of Bitcoin, okay? It's basically like Fortnite, but you use Lightning Network, Bitcoin microtransactions. When you shoot someone, you get some sats. When you get shot, you lose some sats. Imagine that. And then you can buy your guns, your weapons, your skins, all that stuff with money that you've actually earned from the game. And furthermore, if you're really good at this game, guess what? You're making a shitload of money playing it. So you can live the dream. You can be a gamer and actually have that be your full income. Like, I remember when I was a kid playing Contra, you know, up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start, all that stuff. I remember dreaming about being able to play video games and actually make a living. But it was something that was so unrealistic because it was only like a few people who could do that. Well, guess what? With stuff like Light Night, if this gets adoption like Fortnite, holy shit. That's game over for Bitcoin. That's everybody and their mom using Bitcoin without actually knowing about it, but actually earning Bitcoin. Talk about that XRP army. Talk about Bitcoin not having a use case. Please. Where's XRP night, huh? Dude, it could be huge. I'm freaking stoked for this. Like, I'm gonna, as soon as this comes out, I'm gonna start playing it and try to get really good. Maybe I'll start streaming it. Oh, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's exciting. Ready Player One without the VR, yeah, definitely. Should I now buy Bitcoin? I don't know. That's up to you, man. I think the price could still continue to come down a little bit. Okay, I've always had the opinion that the best way to get into Bitcoin is dollar cost averaging. Now, there's an article that I should talk to you about because this is a true article. That's okay. So I've always said dollar cost averaging, best way to get into Bitcoin. But there's this article here from Medium. Does it actually work? They look at dollar cost averaging versus just buying in a lump sum, like putting all your money in right now. And it turns out that both of them have times when you should do them. Now, if we take a look, there's this chart here. So basically, in this chart here, it's green when dollar cost averaging is better, and it's red when just buying lump sum is better. So as you can see, obviously, when the price is at the bottom or at the beginning of a bull run, yeah, you're better just putting all your money in. But the rest of the time, better off dollar cost averaging. Now, if we take a look at it on a logarithmic scale, which gives you a little bit more information, you can see there's a lot more red than green. So that, based on that, it would make more sense to just dump all your money in Bitcoin now as opposed to dollar cost averaging, if you were statistically, okay? So there's a greater chance. But if you come all the way down here to the takeaways, okay? In closing summary, here's what we learned. Most, but not all of the time, you get better future returns if you buy Bitcoin all at once rather than dollar cost average. Most of the time, but not all. As you can see, during those red times, it was good to buy all at once. The green times dollar cost average. However, dollar cost averaging does work better if you're buying during a bear market or if the price is already some way up a large vertical rise. Okay, so we've been in a bear market somewhat, so maybe it's better to just plop it all in right now. However, dollar cost averaging is psychologically easier. So if in doubt, dollar cost average and be happy. That's what I do. I dollar cost average and be happy. Ever since I got into Bitcoin, okay? I've been dollar cost averaging every week. Every Friday, just automatically takes money out of my account, puts it into Bitcoin. Just dollar cost average every single week. I don't even think about it, and it just keeps on doing it. And the best thing about dollar cost averaging is when the price is high, you buy less. When the price is low, you buy more. Because what you're doing is you're buying a fixed dollar amount of Bitcoin. So let's say that you're buying, $8,000 of Bitcoin a week. I'm just using that because Bitcoin's around $8,000 now, so the math is easy for you guys. If you buy $8,000 of Bitcoin per week, I know, you'd be a baller, but basically, if Bitcoin's $8,000, that means you buy one Bitcoin. Okay, if it's $16,000, so if it's expensive, you're only going to buy half a Bitcoin. So when it's more expensive, you buy less. However, if it drops to $4,000, you can buy 2 Bitcoin. So when the price is low, you buy more, which is the coolest thing about Bitcoin because it's automatically buying at the lowest prices you can. So for any guys who are just tuning in, because I know I've been talking about a whole bunch of other stuff for a little bit, and you probably want to know why the title of this episode is Bitcoin Price Crash, and I'm talking about all this other stuff. Yes, Bitcoin price is crashing. These are the 5-minute charts of Bitcoin. Broke through this trend line that we had since February of last year, or February of this year. Also broke through this $7,800 support line, the rectangular trading pattern that Jacob Canfield was talking about for the past couple weeks. Okay, so broke through that as well. Well, it's broken all the way down, reached a low of about 72.94. Now we're up to 74.66. Okay, or 74.70, somewhere in there. Now, why? Well, a few reasons. Somebody sold 400 Bitcoin on Bitstamp. Okay, 400 Bitcoin were sold on Bitstamp. That caused the price to drop significantly. Also, because of that, all of the longs were squeezed on BitMEX. Anybody who was longing Bitcoin with leverage got squeezed, they got liquidated. So there's that also. However, during that time, during that price drop, institutional investors were buying in huge backed volume, typical backed volume between 1 and 5 Bitcoin per day. In 2 hours from the price drop, institutional investors bought 300 Bitcoin. That's like 60 to 300 times more than an average day. Nonsense. And it's also happening during the Libra testimony, which I have this awesome conspiracy that it's actually the Winklevoss twins just doing it to embarrass Zuckerberg. So if you want to find out more about that, you'll just have to watch this episode over again and find out that whole thing. Let's see. Why Fridays and not another day? Well, because I was doing this, so Fridays for dollar cost averaging. because I was doing this research when I first started dollar cost averaging, and there was an article that was Bitcoin.pub dollar cost averaging. Let's see. Yeah. So there was this article here that I saw on a Bitcoin pub, best days of the week to dollar cost average, and this person had taken a look at it just over 6 months, I think in 2017, and they found out that Friday was the best day to buy Bitcoin because the price was the cheapest, and Wednesday was the second best day. But again, this is from 2017. It would be interesting to take a look at this again and see. I mean, maybe, oh, and you can find, well, maybe, I mean, who knows? Maybe someone can figure out how to do that. Maybe I can figure out how to do that. I've been messing around with programming a whole bunch. I don't know Ruby, but maybe I could learn it and figure out the best day for the past couple of years. That would be interesting. So that's why I do it on Friday, because Bitcoin is generally the cheapest based on that data there. Love my Winklevoss twins theory. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching the stream instead of working. I would, you know, that's the benefit of having internet at work. People can just do stuff that they shouldn't be doing. So let's see. What's the other stuff? Anything else? Any other questions that you guys have while you're on the stream? Because, I mean, we're talking about the price dropping. We're talking about, I mean, this is like the most, honestly, okay, so I've interviewed, from Celsius, I've interviewed Alex Mashinsky a few times. He's a very successful guy. I mean, he invented voice over IP. So the technology that he invented is the reason that we're able to do this right now. He's the guy who created Celsius Network as well. He also was responsible for putting Wi-Fi down in all the subways of New York City. He was also, counterintelligence for Israeli Defense Forces. I mean, this guy is freaking brilliant. But anyways, he has this theory about how there's 4 different phases of basically Bitcoin adoption. So first it was I forget exactly. It was like cryptographers and anarchists and then, okay. So first it was the anarchists, then it was the libertarians, then it's the retail investors, then it's the institutional investors. So basically we're each passing the torch, passing the baton on to someone else. So initially the anarchists, the cryptographers, they created Bitcoin, okay? They passed it off to the libertarians who were like, fuck governments, we don't want to have anything to do with them, okay? Then they passed it off to the retail investors, the speculators, okay? And now we're passing off to institutional investors. Now this right here, this is one of the best instances for institutional adoption. I mean, look at this. We know there's been so many articles about how institutional investors have been buying in Bitcoin at low prices. There's been so many. Like, there's this article from Toshi Times. Institutional money is coming into Bitcoin. Okay? So basically during the crypto winter, maybe it was this article, maybe it was another one. I don't remember. But basically, yeah, ton of institutional money coming into Bitcoin. And we know it's been happening. And it's happening again. Price just barely dropped. $1,000. Okay, price dropped $1,000. But institutional investors, seeing this as a great opportunity, they're buying in a ton on Bakkt and probably everywhere else. More dips. Yeah, more dips. Great time to buy, definitely. Am I a Bitcoin maximalist? No, definitely not. But I do strongly believe in Bitcoin. It's kind of like saying, what's an analogy? I don't know. Anyways, Bitcoin is the reason that I got into cryptocurrency. It wasn't like somebody came up to me and said, hey, this Ripple thing, check this out. No. Somebody was like, Bitcoin. You own 1 Bitcoin, you'll be set for life. That's why I got into Bitcoin. Okay? And Bitcoin's been around for 10 years. Bitcoin's the game changer. Okay? That doesn't mean that other cryptocurrencies aren't going to be valuable. It doesn't mean they aren't going to change the world. Like smart contracts change the world. We're able to do all types of crazy stuff. Like, for instance, one of the things that I do right now is I actually use Monarch Pay's recurring decentralized crypto payments. You basically set up a recurring payment on there, and then you get paid in cryptocurrency on a recurring basis, completely due to smart contracts, completely decentralized. Like, it's between you and the other person. Nobody else has their hands in it, and you can use this absolutely, completely awesome. So that type of stuff, smart contracts change the world because you can do all this type of stuff. Let's look at some other stuff with smart contracts. How about what I was talking about? Lightning. Guess what? This is probably going to use smart contracts to handle those Bitcoin Lightning payments. It changes the world. It makes permissionless money transfer. You don't need banks anymore. You don't need XRP anymore. Because guess what? We can do it all without permissions. We can do it all decentralized. We can do it all from peer to peer, the way that money's supposed to go, peer to peer. It doesn't need to go to a bank so they can take their cut so then you can get the money. I mean, holy shit. You remember, what was it? There was some insane Bitcoin transaction. It was like $1 billion of Bitcoin that was sent, and it cost like $3. This happened like a week or so ago. $1 billion was sent internationally, and it cost $3. I had to send an international money transfer like a year ago. It was like $2,000. You know how much it cost? About $250, something like that. Maybe even more, $400. It was something absurd. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you're shitting me. It costs this much money for you to literally send the money over there. And they're like, yep, that's just the way it is. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, you're fucking out of your mind. That's why Bitcoin's going to do awesome. And smart contracts, they change the world. XRP, Tron, EOS are good but super centralized. Yeah, a lot of these projects are very centralized. And, you know, a lot of them say, well, we're centralized now and we're going to decentralize over time. Like, for instance, Cardano says that all the time. We're very centralized. We're aiming to decentralize. And maybe they will. Who knows? Maybe they will. Because, you know, initially they need some centralization to kind of define the vision and get it going. But who knows? Who knows? And then there's the other people who say Bitcoin's centralized because, you know, 60% of Bitcoin mining occurs in China. And it's like, yeah, but it's not one person. It's like, is somebody really going to listen, if somebody shuts down Bitcoin mining in China, they'll move somewhere else. You guys remember when that happened? Where was it? It was, I think, yeah, it was it was one of these China FUD things a long time ago. Basically, China made some, like, ICO investing illegal or something like that. So all the ICO investors went to Japan. Doesn't friggin' matter. People can go places. They can do different things. Boom shakalaka, what's up, Crypto Clown? How are you doing? Yeah, I actually, you know, as much as I talk shit about XRP, I still think it'll do well. I do. I have a video coming up next week about my thoughts on XRP, and yeah, I still think it'll do well. So you should watch that video. But yeah, I don't know who this Sam is to the YouTube channel to the lifeboats. Yeah, I'll talk with him. That'll be cool. We could have a debate. That'll be fun. And anybody going to Vegas next week? Not me. Am I going to the hackathon in San Fran? No, I would love to, but I'm not. I'm staying away from the States as much as I can. You know what it is? Like, I just get bummed as hell living in the States. It's just like, I just feel like there's so much advertising and bullshit going on that it's just like, all the time it's advertising, like, you're not good enough, buy this. You're not good enough, buy this. You're not good enough, buy this. And it's just like, after hearing that, like, TV, radio, billboards, everywhere, it's just like, man, I feel like a piece of shit living there. And it's just like, I better just buy something. Meanwhile, I live in these other countries, I mean, typically pretty, like, poor country. I mean, they're not poor at all. Their quality of life is amazing. They have a much better quality of life than anyone does in America. But, you know, money-wise, they're poor. But, like, people are happy. Life is awesome. I freaking love it. And so I just stay away from the States as much as I can right now. Veterinary nurse ECC bought your first Bitcoin last week. Yo, congratulations. I used to be a veterinarian. So, congratulations. Well done. That's awesome. Go save some animals' lives. And, yeah. Dude, that's awesome. I mean, well done. Hold on to your Bitcoin. Don't let anybody take that Bitcoin away from you. Don't let somebody try and sell you Ripple for that Bitcoin. Hold that Bitcoin. Yeah. Let's see. Who else? Oh. All right. Anything else? Yeah, so I guess that's about it. What about DeFi, decentralized finance? Well, that's a pretty big thing right now. It's like one of those terms that people talk about, decentralized finance. You know, I think it'll have its place. Like, I mean, you look at things, for instance, we have, I mean, basically with technology, we have decentralized technology and we have centralized technology. It's existed for years. Open source versus closed source. I don't know what the opposite of that is. But basically, there's a bunch of open source stuff, and people love to contribute to it, and it does really awesome. And then there's stuff that's not open source. And you can kind of pick and choose what you have. Same thing will happen with finance. Some people will want to keep their money permissioned, but other people will want permissionless, open source. And those people will choose Bitcoin. Thanks for this Q&A. You're welcome. Do you think Bitcoin will hold when next economic crash occurs? Of course, in the beginning, yes, but after a while, people with money in the stocks. Well, actually, I think, see, Bitcoin was released because of an economic collapse, an economic crash. And it was meant to solve that problem of economic collapse because the economy collapsed because basically these people that we trusted, these banks, were doing stuff they shouldn't have been doing. Subprime lending, okay? They shouldn't have been doing that, but they were. And they were just like, you know what, let's just keep doing it. Let's make as much money as we can. Let's be as greedy as we can because guess what? When it all collapses, we're not going to be held accountable. It's going to be the taxpayer. They're going to get fucked. We're going to be okay. We're still going to get our bonuses. And plus, we'll get all this money we made. So basically, 2008, financial system collapsed. And Bitcoin came out. And he's like, guess what? You don't need banks anymore. You can actually be responsible. You can hold your own money. You can do that. And it's developed to what it is today. But people still think they need banks. Here's the thing. There's going to be another economic collapse. 2008 was not solved by any means. The banks got bailed out. Taxpayers bailed out the banks. So you, me, everyone else, we bailed out the banks. The people who fucked up, they didn't do any hard time. They didn't go to jail. They didn't even get a slap on the wrist. They got their bonuses, okay? We had to pay for it. And because of that, they didn't learn anything. And nothing was even cleaned up. I mean, look what happened. After 2008, interest rates dropped significantly, almost close to 0% interest rates dropped. And then they've been creeping back up, you know, 2, 3, 4%. But guess what? Now they're talking about negative interest rates for the next recession. The next recession is slated for 2021-ish, somewhere around there, 2020, 2021. That's the date it's slated for. So they're saying at that time, if you want to have money in a bank, you're going to have to pay to keep your money in a bank. Who the fuck is going to want to do that? Seriously, that's fucking nuts. You could have your money on your phone in a Monarch wallet or any other wallet that you choose. You can have it there securely. You can keep your 12 seed keys safe. You can have all your money. You can go pay for anything, anywhere in the world. Go anywhere you want with your money, and you don't have to pay anyone for that. And the value of it keeps going up and up because it's deflationary currency. Or you could keep your money in a bank and pay to keep your money in a bank. And you know what? You could transfer your money between banks and use XRP. That sounds like a really great idea. It's like crazy. Like, I feel like I'm on God. Like, it's crazy that people would want to do that. But that's the way it's going. So yes, there's going to be an economic collapse. Yes. I mean, it's not a surprise to anybody. It's going to come. When it comes, I don't know, maybe 2020, 2021, something like that. Or maybe it'll be later. Or maybe it won't. I don't know. But do I think Bitcoin will do well? Yeah, I do. I think the price of Bitcoin is going to soar. Because here's the thing. Banks are going to lower interest rates. They're going to start printing a whole bunch of money. And in the beginning, that's going to work a little bit. But the thing is, printing money doesn't work. There was a really great book. Oh, man. I interviewed this guy a long time ago. It was a book on bubbles. It'll come to me. Well, anyways. So, it was basically a book on bubbles. And basically, money printing doesn't work. It just deflates the value of the currency. And then your currency is worth nothing. Look at Zimbabwe. Look at Venezuela. That stuff happens. People get their money. If they hold on to it for a week, it's worth nothing. As soon as they get their money, they need to spend it. Or they put it in the Bitcoin. So, same thing's going to happen when there's an economic collapse. Because Bitcoin is deflationary. That's what the halvening tells us. It's deflationary. Every few years, the amount that's created decreases by half. It deflates. It's deflationary. Because of that, it gives it more value. So, I think Bitcoin is going to do great because of the next economic collapse. I think that's one of the big reasons why Bitcoin will be worth $2 million by 2020, as Mcafee says. Do I think this is a video playing? I don't interact with you? Are you kidding me? I've been answering questions. Like, what are you smoking? What, did you have some question? What will happen when we have a reception? Dude, I just answered your question. This is ridiculous. Okay. Explains everything you're saying so well. Anyways. So, that's that. Cool. All right. So, for the last time, it's long. My friend has a cello concert. I gotta go check that out tonight. But last thing, why Bitcoin price dropped for those of you who are just in there. Bitcoin price dropped from around $8,000 all the way down to $7,200, all the way back up to right around $74, $79, where we're at right now. Reasons for it: someone sold 400 Bitcoin on Bitstamp. However, also a bunch of longs got liquidated on BitMEX, and furthermore, the great news of this is institutions are buying in huge. So institutions are buying. They want to buy Bitcoin at discount prices. It's happening. That's enormous. So that's it for today. I think that's it for this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll continue bringing episodes on the daily. And thanks. I love your passion. I love my passion too. I'm very passionate about this stuff. Like, I literally think Bitcoin will change the world. I think it will. It has the smartest people in the world working on it. Literally the smartest people in the world working on it. The smartest people in the world believing in it. It's really only people who have an invested interest somewhere else who say Bitcoin is not going to do well. Those are really the only people who are, like, for instance, bankers, they don't want it to do it well. Investors who invest in banks, they don't want it to do well. And people who own XRP, they don't want it to do well either. So there's 3 people don't like Bitcoin. Everybody else loves Bitcoin. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all you guys and all of your time that you spend here. So I will catch you all later. Have a good one. Make sure to keep watching, like, comment, all that fun stuff, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.